For years, we've been supporting WOBL and WDLW coming in for our monthly interviews, talking a little bit about what we're doing at the Community Foundation. So we thought that it would be a perfect time to come in and give you a deep dive of what we really do. And so my name is Brittany Lovett. I'm the Marketing Communications Officer at the Community Foundation of Lorain County. I've been with the organization 5 years, and I'm really excited to be here with one of my coworkers, Laura Malone. And we're going to have Jim Stobe, our CFO, stop in a little bit later, and Aaliyah Kimbrough, who is one of our Leadership Lorain County interns. So you're going to get a little bit of information about a little bit of everything today with us, and then hopefully next month when Laura comes back and she's sitting in the host seat, you'll learn about our scholarships and our grants. So welcome. And what do we do here? We connect people who care with causes that matter. So Laura, can you tell us a little bit about you and then a little bit about what you do at the foundation?
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Laura Malone. I'm the Development Officer here at Community Foundation of Lorain County. I have been with Community Foundation since September of 2020. I joined Community Foundation after about 11 years at a National Donor Advised Fund program. And while I loved the work that I did there on a national level, at the time I had just had twin girls. They are now 3.5. And it was really important for me to be more localized in what I was doing with my philanthropy and with my philanthropic consulting. So the opportunity to be part of a community foundation, to be able to help shape and help work in the environment that my children are growing up in. My husband is a Firelands graduate. I am not originally from Lorain County myself. I'm a Summit County born and bred, but I've inherited Lorain County as my new home. And it's been a great opportunity to be able to, get more acquainted with the environment that my husband grew up in and help work in this environment with my young girls and help shape what they're seeing and what they're learning about Lorain County and our region. So I'm thrilled to be part of the Community Foundation team and working with people who care about causes that matter in all aspects of our work here at Community Foundation.
Awesome, Laura. And I do want to say, so at our organization, we have 12 individuals that work day in and day out to serve all 34 municipalities in Lorain County. And all of us work, live, and love Lorain County. We're raising our families here. We volunteer here. We do everything here. And so we are your community foundation. And so what does that mean? That means that donors like you contact Laura. And what does that look like, Laura? What does it look like when someone wants to donate to the community foundation?
It can take a lot of different shapes and forms, and we are best known as a community foundation, as a single entity of what we do, and folks learn about our grants and our scholarships as something through the community foundation. But the engine that really drives the community foundation is the engine of over 750 individual funds, and those individual funds have been created by donors like you. And 90% of the work that we do is driven by you as donors and your intention with what you've created with your philanthropy. Of those 750 funds, most people don't realize that only about 100 of those are truly unrestricted dollars, where the community foundation can use those monies at their discretion. All of the other 650 funds are really driven by donors who have said, hey, I have a passion for the arts, or I have a passion for the Wellington School District, or I have a passion for the Lorain County Office on Aging, and I want to be able to support those organizations or support those initiatives, and I want to create a fund to be able to do that. So donors can do a number of things. The easiest thing that they can do is, of those 750 funds that are at the Community Foundation, all of those are open to public donations. So they can find a fund that already exists at Community Foundation and they can make a donation to support one of those funds. If they don't know where they want to align their support, we have this wonderful fund called Touch the Future, which is our unrestricted dollars that help support numerous needs among the Lorain County community. If they don't have a fund that they see there that meets their needs and they want to create something that's unique to them and their charitable passions, and they can definitely go ahead and do so at the Community Foundation. And coming up in September, on September 21st, is going to be our 4th annual Connect to a Cause Day. And that's almost like Giving Tuesday, which you may have heard about, nationally. For us, it's going to be Thursday, September 21st, and we're going to be supporting over 90 hardworking Lorain County nonprofits with that day of giving. And what we've heard from a lot of donors is that it's a wonderful way to one-stop shop with their charitable giving, especially if they support numerous organizations, if they're looking to do something strategic with their IRA assets, if they qualify for the qualified charitable distributions, being able to leverage that opportunity to be able to support 1 or 10 or 15 or all 90 of those nonprofit organizations, then Connect to a Cause Day on September 21st will definitely be the day to do that.
Awesome. And I feel like you segued right into where I was going to go next. Grants and scholarships. So when we're talking about, when people want to donate and become donors, they go see Laura. What does that money do, though? How does it grow? Jim's going to come in here and talk about our stewardships of those dollars. But tell us about grants and scholarships.
That's a great question, Britt. And as we mentioned, we have over 750 funds here at Community Foundation. All of those have been created by individuals, by families, by corporations, and those ultimately become grant-making dollars that come out from the Community Foundation into the community. A lot of those, as I mentioned, probably about 90% of those are earmarked for a specific purpose. So if you have an organizational fund, that fund is being used to support directly the needs of that organization. So we have over 100 nonprofit endowments where those funds are directed directly to support that nonprofit. But we do have funds like our field of interest funds and our donor advised funds and our unrestricted funds that become part of our community grant cycle. And that's part of where those dollars get granted out by Community Foundation to nonprofits throughout the year. Annually, that's about $2.2 million of our $6.2 million that's granted out annually. The remaining balance of that is those pre-dedicated dollars, like I mentioned, to the agency endowments, to the school districts, to specific organizations that donors have named specifically that they want to support. So oftentimes, I think a lot of folks feel that what the Community Foundation does is actually the inverse of what it actually does. Most of the money that goes out is money that the donors have come to us and said, hey, Community Foundation, we're entrusting you with these dollars, like Jim will talk about in a little bit, and we're planning on you using these dollars to support this initiative or this organization or this effort from now until the end of time. Mm-hmm. And that's where the largest part of our annual grant making of over $6 million comes out to, with about a third of that being our community grant making, which is roughly over $2 million that goes out based upon the discretion of those grantees that apply to us seeking funding, and those that are part of our community engagement and our grants committee that help to award those grant dollars out to those nonprofits that are seeking those funding needs. So it is a symbiotic relationship where the two things work together to really help support the Lorain County community. We can't exist without the nonprofits who we are here to help, and we also can't exist without those donors that are contributing those dollars that can help turn into that funding that we can distribute to our nonprofits in need.
And I do want to add, so our grant cycles have changed in 2023. We've tried to make it a little bit easier for our grantees, but then also for our grants committees individuals. So most people don't know how our grants work. So Laura told you when a donor has an intent to steward those dollars towards literacy or fishing or knitting. I mean, you can get as creative as you want to be with these funds to fund something in our community, right? And so nonprofit organizations who are 501c3s in good standing, they can go into our portal, and we have health and human services, we have education and youth, we have arts and culture and strengthening Lorain County, and we have have affiliate funds. So we'll get into that a little bit in just a second. But any organization that is serving Lorain County can apply for one of our grants. So the best thing that you can do is visit peoplewhocare.org and just kind of look around. And if you are like, this is a lot of information, you can always call us, 440-984-7390. Any of our staff can walk through this with you. And I do want to give a shout out to Jamie Stemenow and Lynn Ricehead. They are our programs team. They are reading over these grants. They are stewarding and guiding our committee, calling and asking questions, all those things. And it's how we're really able to keep our thumb on what really is going on in Lorain County and what is it that our residents really need. What are we struggling with? And so we love our grantees, and we're always welcoming new ones. I know in this last grant cycle, I think we had about 10 new organizations that had never applied for a grant at the Community Foundation before. So it sounds like a really big thing, but once you have a conversation with us, we want to help you on this journey. So if you're interested, please reach out to any of us. And so tell me about scholarships, Laura.
So, scholarships are such a great tool to help students move on from high school. A lot of times it doesn't always have to be a 4-year college. It can be community college. It can be trade schools. We have roughly about 60 scholarships that we manage directly at the Community Foundation. And those are really great because that is a single effort application. So if you've ever gone through the scholarship process with your kids, or way back when I graduated high school many moons ago, if there was a single scholarship I wanted, I had a single application. If there was another scholarship I wanted, I had another application. And the next thing I knew, I had 10 different applications I was trying to do. With the Community Foundation scholarships, it's a single application. And once the student fills out that application, then their name gets dropped into the different buckets of the scholarships that they might qualify for. And then our community of volunteers will review those scholarships and select those applicants based upon how closely they meet that criteria of each of those 60 different scholarships. But aside from those scholarships, as we talked about briefly, we also manage the endowments for all of the school districts in Lorain County. Every single school district in Lorain County has an endowment through the Community Foundation, and a large number of those school districts also have their own scholarship funds, and many of them will have their own single source application for those scholarships as well. So it's a great opportunity for whatever school district you're in to be able to dovetail both of those opportunities, not just the scholarship opportunities that might be at the school district where your child resides or where your grandchild resides, but also looking at the larger footprint of the Lorain County scholarship offerings that we have at the Community Foundation and how to best fit those things together. And not all of these have to be for graduating seniors. We have a number of scholarships that are available for those that are trying to go back to school after an absence, for those that might be in their second, third, or fourth year of college where they're trying to continue their education. We have a number of scholarships that are in things like engineering and automotive and plumbing and electrical. So there are a lot of great opportunities. Students take a lot of different shapes and forms in this educational environment, and we're working really hard to try and meet those needs, and we have wonderful donors that have worked with us to help shape those needs, being cognizant of the idea that some of the greatest needs for scholarship funding is not necessarily with those that are graduating seniors, but those that are sophomores or juniors or college seniors that are trying to continue on their education. There's statistics along the lines of 44% of the college dropouts drop out for financial reasons, because once they get past that first year of college, a lot of those resources that they relied upon are no longer available because they were one-year scholarships. Over 60% of the scholarships at Community Foundation are renewable, so that helps to ensure that those students can not only get to college, but stay in college or stay in that continuing education that they're doing that's outside of college. So we're really trying hard to work with our donors to help shape those opportunities and create more opportunities for those students so that they can go and continue their education and have it be a fulfilling and rewarding experience that is less stressful because they know that they have some of those resources through the Community Foundation or through their school district endowments where they can move on to that next level after high school.
I get so excited. Like a little too excited when you talk about this stuff, because I go back to our mission is literally the coolest thing I've ever heard, connecting people who care with causes that matter. And our thought leaders in our community 43 years ago, when they wanted to create something that it existed other places, but it didn't exist here. And we are still reaping the harvest of what they did 43 years ago. And that's powerful. So regardless if you have $5 or $5 million, you are a part of the Community Foundation of Lorain County. And I think that's something that's super powerful. And, you know, not every philanthropic organization has that history. They say, once you know one community foundation, you only know one community foundation. And luckily, we know our Community Foundation of Lorain County and how phenomenal it is. So I don't even know what to ask you next.
Well, you know, I think you brought up a great point, Britt, in the sense of this can be any dollar amount. You know, we have donors that have started funds and have just contributed $20 a month or $30 a month, and that grows over time, or they may support just an existing fund. We have donors that know that their organizations that they care about have endowments at the Community Foundation, and they want to focus on the longevity of supporting those organizations. So they may make small donations to those endowments for those organizations that they are passionate about. This doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, we have the ability to take donations as little as $5, and to be able, and often we have folks that have a recurring system of how they make those gifts. They treat it almost like they would, you know, their tithing at their place of worship, or their gym membership, or their video subscriptions for, you know, Netflix or what have you. And they build their charitable giving right in that same breadth and depth that they're doing a lot of their other activities, so that it's seamless to them and they're still creating that impact. And with the benefit of a number of these funds being endowed, and Jim will talk more about what endowment means later, but I like to refer to that as forever funding. So, you know, the $5 that you give today will be so much more than $5 25 years from now, 50 years from now. You're creating this perpetual forever existence of those funds and of those gifts to support the causes that you care about, to be that person who cares about causes that matter. And that's really the greatest part about this, is the idea that this is going on forever, and the idea that you can have wherever your passion lies, whether that be within your local school district, whether that be within mental health, whether that be within arts and education, whether that be in regards to saving the kittens and the puppies, you know, whether that means, you know, protecting our natural resources. Any of those opportunities exist, and those funds are there for your intent. Our role as the Community Foundation is to honor the donor's intent with that funding. So if you lay out a plan of what you want to do, you know, barring the idea that that plan can't function in some way, shape, or form, you know, that plan is always going to exist for that purpose of your support. And I think a lot of folks forget the idea that it is that multifaceted, that it is the idea that it can be whatever they can dream of, for how they want to do their charitable giving. We can make that happen for them, and we want to make that happen for them, because that's part of what makes Lorain County great. That's part of what improves the environment that my girls are growing up in. You know, that's part of what has helped us over the last 43 years and will help us in the next 43 years and beyond to help make Lorain County the best that it can be. So that's, you know, why we get up every day, all 12 of us, and that's why we do what we do, and that's why we love what we do. So, you know, we're happy to have folks that want to join that with us in any way, shape, or form. You know, we have, you mentioned briefly, Britt, the youth affiliate funds. So we have our youth fund for high school students that no matter what school district you're part of, you can be part of the Community Foundation Youth Fund. We have our Women's Fund, we have our Hispanic Fund, and we have our African American Community Fund. And all four of those funds have their own unique niche, and they also have their own unique grant making that they do as those affiliate funds. So if you want to get engaged and you want to do something that might even be beyond monetary, the idea of participating in one of those funds or having your kids participate in one of those funds is a great opportunity to really see how to be part of the larger community. How to have more of your own finger on the pulse. As a community foundation, we don't have a lot of the hands-on volunteer opportunities that a lot of organizations can have. We don't have the food bank, filling up boxes or filling backpacks for those needs, but we do have folks that volunteer on our scholarship committees when it's scholarship season, and we do have folks that volunteer as part of our grants committee that helps us with the distribution of those funds, and we do have ways that, even if it's not with us, that we can help connect you with other volunteer opportunities at any of the potential great organizations that exist in Lorain County. So our role is, connecting people who care with causes that matter, and that doesn't always have to be monetary. It can really just be where are your best time, talents, treasures that you want to be able to put out there into the community, and how can we best help you do that as your community foundation.
And I knew Laura was going to say the 5 T's, and I say that every month we have an e-newsletter that goes out, and Laura does a really good job. We have a Power of Endowment article, her blog, that comes out, and her last one was about the 5 T's. And I just think of time. I will say I'm a millennial, right? And I'm at the point where I can start giving my money, but I think the biggest thing that I like to give people is my time. And so I want to be able to work with organizations to help them solve problems with my skill set, on top of donating to that organization. And so when I think about the Community Foundation, you're right. Our board of directors, we have over 20 individuals from around Lorain County who are passionate about this organization, that serve, and not just serve a little bit. I think their meetings start at 7:30. I'm never at them. Ever. I cannot make them, but I'm so thankful that our board of directors is passionate, they're driven, and we've actually been strategic planning for the last few months, and so we're really excited to announce at our annual meeting this year what that looks like moving forward. I think of the Community Foundation as the past and that legacy, what our community has done, the stake in the ground to make this organization the foundation, right? And we're in the present. We have stewarded to this point, and there are a lot of challenges in our community, and we are trying to adapt to them, work with our partners across every aisle to make sure that we're serving Lorain County. But see, I love to live in the future. I just do. I'm a futurist, so I love to always dream about what's next. And I know people are scared of AI. I know there's a lot of moving parts, right? But one thing that I feel confident about is that I know 43 more years from now, the Community Foundation will be doing some of the amazing things that we are doing today. Maybe it's not a podcast. Maybe we'll have things where we can stream it, like the glasses that just came out. Or, I'll be in your living room in 43 years. But I definitely believe that we'll still have people who are committed to this community and fighting for it every day. So I do want to shout out to our affiliate funds. If you're interested in volunteering and maybe not sure of how or what, they help host events. Every quarter we have something where you can drop in and you can just see who's there. What are we doing? What are we offering? Maybe we are not offering something that you want to create. Well, come on to us, and we can help you do that. But I definitely think it's the times, the talents, the treasure. It's all those things, and that really makes us who we are.
And I think to add on to that, because I only shared 3 of the 5 T's, so let me, we also have testimony and we have ties. And when you think of the idea of, the testimony, and you think of the idea of some of these folks whose lives may have been touched by the Community Foundation in the sense of scholarships. We run across people every day that say, hey, I think I got a scholarship from you guys at one point. And what that means to share that story. And it may not even be something that you knew came from us, but an organization that may have an endowment with us, that you got services from that organization and the ability that they're able to do the work that they do. I know the Lorain County Free Clinic talks about they use their endowment for prescription drugs, and that helps them pay for the prescription drug costs that they face as a free clinic. So being able to, say, hey, I've been able to be helped by these Lorain County organizations and share that information with the community is extremely helpful in just being able to increase that awareness of what's going on in Lorain County in general and the opportunities that are available, to be able to serve not just through the Community Foundation, but directly through some of the other hardworking organizations in Lorain County. And the ties, we are all as strong as our networks, and we all have great people that we interact with. And I think oftentimes we assume that everybody knows the same thing that we do, and sometimes that's not the case. So if you have interacted with the Community Foundation or interacted with the organizations that we support, or if make sure you're sharing your opportunities to be involved with your friends and neighbors, because oftentimes folks are struggling with wanting to do something more and not really sure where to begin. So to have a friend say, hey, I'm part of this organization, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, you might really enjoy this, could mean the world to them as part of their experience, because oftentimes they're looking for that ability to be more interacted, to be more tied to their community. And there's actually, the Cleveland Clinic has done a great study about how, charitable giving and volunteering actually helps with mental health. They have what they call the helper's high. That is that ability of endorphins that get created in the brain through doing good works. So, as we're dealing with, all these challenges that are still coming from the pandemic and from COVID and mental health and just feeling disconnected, there's no better way to feel more connected than volunteering and engaging in your local community. And how we can, as our role of connecting people who care with causes that matter, how can we help you with your time, your talent, your treasure, your testimony, and your ties to make that happen, to make Lorain County even better than ever.
All right, so I got one story before we switch out and start talking about some of the other things that we offer. But as Laura is talking about donors, we just did a feature story on Sally Peoples. If you've never heard of Sally Peoples, she is from Lorain. She's raised 3 children, and she has cute little grandbabies. But she is a philanthropist. And sometimes the word philanthropy is a big word, and it can mean a lot of things to other people, but she gives all those things. She's started 3 funds. She first got introduced by going to an event at one of the African American Community Fund's luncheons, and she got interested. And she has been volunteering and working with us ever since. She has the 3 funds, but she also serves on our scholarship committee. So does her daughter, and she brought the baby the other day, and the baby was just adorable. So if you visit our website, peoplewhocare.org, you can see her journey and how her recipe for life of being positive, of giving back, of doing the right thing, all made it possible for her to be a philanthropist. So shout out to Sally Peoples, shout out to Michelle and the baby. They also participate in some of our residential engagement opportunities. So this is a good segue to kind of talk about some of the other things that we offer. So grants and scholarships, those are probably our 2 biggest things, and we do them well. And we still need your help, and we always are looking for feedback. So please, if you have it, contact us. We always are looking for ways to be better. But we also offer a lot of other things. And so one of the things as our nonprofit partners, we're always serving and always asking them, what else do you need? How can we help you build capacity outside of grant making? Because we only have a certain amount of grant dollars to award. And one of the things that they have said to us, they love our seminars and webinars. And so obviously there were webinars during the pandemic, but we're back in person, whether it's talking about finance, grant writing, fundraising, marketing, anything under the sun, they have given us feedback, and we work with other nonprofits to be able to give them those services. We also have residential engagement initiatives. What does that mean? Well, there are over 310,000 people in Lorain County. There's a lot of residents. So how can you, on a residential level, get involved with the Community Foundation? Well, we have two initiatives right now. One's called Neighbor Up, and we are having them every month in the city of Lorain and every other month in the city of Elyria, where our community engagement fellow, Sierra, is hosting the opportunities for you to come talk with your neighbors about anything that you want. Maybe you don't like that somebody hit the stop sign and now they replaced it, but it's not the best. Or maybe in the wintertime, somebody needs help snow blowing their driveway. This is where you can come and talk to the people who you may not see every day. And I say that's where Sally and Michelle Peoples, they are at Harrison Cultural Center in Lorain. Every time we have that, they don't miss an opportunity to connect about their community. And so if you can go to our website, see when those next residential engagement Neighbor Up nights are, it's just, they're pretty powerful. And we're actually celebrating 5 years of doing this work. We started with our One Lorain County initiative, and it's grown so big to this. And so please connect with us. We're super excited. And another one is called IOBY. So it stands for In Our Backyard. And this is an opportunity. If you have an idea about a little library, about a garden, about a youth program, come apply for IOBY. Our friends at IOBY will help you walk through the process, but you will be able to crowdfund for funds, and the Community Foundation will match up to $1,000. So if you get $1,000 donated, you got $2,000, because we're going to give you $1,000 as well. And you can do this project, and we have tons of projects. I think we've had over 25 that were done in 2022, and they're already hitting the bar rolling this year with projects that are happening. So if there's just something that you need help with, and it could be something that's already established. I know there's like a youth league, a youth basketball league where they're raising funds to sponsor. It's just a way to get extra funds because you're not a nonprofit. And so we can't write you a grant, but what we can do is help you build your capacity and learn how to do these things with your idea so that we can help more individuals in our community. So those are all amazing opportunities. You can visit peoplewhocare.org to learn more about all of them, or just give us a call at 440-984-7390, and any of us would be happy to talk to you. I know our CFO and our intern are really, really excited to come in here. So we're going to take a quick break, and then after the break, they're going to come in here and we're going to talk about the money. That's the important part, right? The money. What are we doing with the money? And he's going to do a really good job of talking about how we have a phenomenal investment committee that this is exactly what they do. So stay tuned.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's Get Out on the Water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly. Get on board. Get on board.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Now, we tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Family dinners, game nights, and holiday parties. It all happens at home. June is Home Ownership Month, and the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, Departments of Commerce and Insurance, want to help Ohioans realize the dream of home ownership. Visit myohiohome.org for more information on how to find a real estate agent, down payment assistance, and more. If you're ready to buy a home, help is available. Visit myohiohome.org. Home ownership. Make it a part of your future. Sponsored by the Ohio Housing Finance Agency and aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
If you have Ohio Medicaid, you need to act now. All Medicaid members are required to renew their health coverage. If you are no longer eligible, trained navigators can help for free. Call Get Covered Ohio at 833-628-4467 or visit getcoveredohio.org. This project is supported by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services as part of a financial assistance award totaling $2.33 million with 100% funding by CMS/HHS and do not necessarily represent the official views of the U.S. government. Sponsored by the Ohio Association of Food Banks, aired by OAB and the station.
When will the danger become crystal clear? When you read another statistic? When it happens to your neighbor? When your family is shattered? When will you finally take action? Don't let another family's life fall to pieces due to the dangers of unsafe railroad crossings. Report bad railroad crossings at angelsontrack.org. That's angelsontrack.org. Because bad crossings kill good drivers. Sponsored by Angels on Track, aired by OAB and the station.
Ohio loves to gamble, but this is one bet you will never win. Ohio doesn't require gates and flashing lights at every crossing, so drivers are at risk. Statistics show that gates and lights together prevent more train-car accidents than stop signs or crossbucks alone. Please approach all crossings with caution and report bad railroad crossings at angelsontrack.org. That's angelsontrack.org. Because bad crossings kill good drivers. Sponsored by Angels on Track, aired by OAB and this station.
Hello, everybody. I am Jim Stobe. I am the Chief Financial Officer at the Community Foundation. I guess I'm batting second in today's order. Really excited to be here. Thought I'd kind of just jump in briefly and give a little background about myself. I was born and raised in Lorain County, lived in North Ridgeville as a child, and after I graduated, a couple stops, I relocated and started a family in Avon Lake back in 2004. I spent most of my career on the for-profit side of the world, in the financial sector, as a CPA, then eventually becoming a CFO, and made a career transition about 4 years ago when someone I used to work with who was on the board of the Community Foundation suggested I apply for the job at the Community Foundation that was open, and 4 years later, I'm really happy to be here and be a part of the community. I have outside of work, I have two children who are high school students in Avon Lake. Actually, my daughter Savannah is on the youth fund here with the Community Foundation, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And I'm also very active in the community. I'm the president of the Avon Lake Board of Education. So a lot of my worlds kind of collide with service and community, and the Community Foundation is a great place to work. So in my time today, I was kind of getting ready for what I wanted to talk about. I figured I would somewhat address how we handle everything financially with the foundation, because even me, from an outside perspective and having an accounting background, a financial background, wasn't quite sure how it all worked. But let me kind of walk through that for a minute. So if you think about it, Laura mentioned that we have over 700 funds in the foundation, and basically all those funds are pooled together into one large investment pool. So when we talk about the primary goal of the foundation, it's to take money in from the community, from different donors and through all of our funds, invest it wisely, and earn a return that is great enough to consistently return to the community in the form of grants and scholarships, a strong return, while also being able to run the business of the foundation and have some money left over for the obvious variations in the market. So that's the simple version of it. It gets a little more complicated, but to dive deep a little bit into the numbers, we're trying to achieve a return of 7.75%, and all of our rules that we follow are laid out in our investment policy, and that gives us kind of a roadmap as to how we invest our money and what we do. But really, the the job of managing the portfolio is not Jim Stobe's job. It's really a team approach, and we have kind of 3 different segments of it. We have our internal team at our foundation with our finance manager, Allison Hawkinson, and I, but we work with with volunteers on our investment committee who help manage this portfolio. So these are folks that are board members or other folks in the community that just care about Lorain County that have extensive either accounting or other financial or business experience, and they come together to evaluate, how we're managing a portfolio. The foundation, the other leg of the stool, I guess you could say, is the foundation also hires an outside investment firm, as most foundations do. We employ a firm called Marquette & Associates. They're a national firm, and their job is to do the day-to-day record keeping and to bring suggestions about how we might manage our portfolio better. So the investment committee kind of reviews what our investment advisors are suggesting, and we make decisions on a quarterly basis to maximize our returns, so again, that we can return the most money to the community. So I think the thing that was interesting to me when I got to the foundation was just how extensive the experience of the folks that were volunteering for our foundation were. I think I've made the comment, I felt like I was the dumbest person in the room that the first meeting, because the folks that are involved have such extensive investment knowledge, and that's really valuable because we take our job very seriously, trying to do the best that we can for our community when it comes to the financial side of things. And we look at things like benchmarking and trying to make sure that what we're doing as a foundation is comparable to other nonprofits, other foundations, and we do a lot of education in that space as well. But I want to talk a little bit about the investment policy, because some foundations have a very simplistic approach, and just based on maybe how they're structured and so forth. Maybe a split between equities and fixed income, and our portfolio is actually made up of about 10 different asset classes, and at any one time we have 25 to 30 different investment holdings. So we're looking at those, and we're trying to understand where those are performing well, where those might need to be changed and so forth. But we go a step beyond that, and that's really where you get into the community foundation and what we're about. And a couple of things that are in our investment policy, and actually I brought a little bit today just to kind of touch base on it, but we talk about socially responsible investment considerations, and we also talk about diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging investment considerations. So I'll kind of pause and talk about each one of those. But when we're in this space, we're doing things in the community and trying to make the world a better place. Well, that bleeds into how we invest our money, and from the socially responsible investment side, you may have heard the terms ESG. It's a way to look at investments and to measure their impact and the impact on the world around us, on how these companies are investing or are doing about business that we're investing. So we regularly review all of our investment managers, and there's some United Nations principles for responsible investing that we look at those guidelines and so forth. And that's just a basic cadence of our meetings to not only say, hey, is this investment making money, but are they being socially responsible as well? On the diversity side, this is something that we're kind of at the forefront in that everything that we've done in the foundation over the last few years has centered on diversity, inclusion, and equity. And we had an opportunity a couple of years ago with one of our folks on our investment committee to get connected with a firm called Paradigm Institutional Associates, and Paradigm is a leader in this space of trying to create a portfolio that is designed solely of made up of different funds that keep different aspects of diversity, inclusion, and equity. So, that could take the place of, leadership. It could take the place of what their mission is and so forth. But Paradigm came to us and presented an opportunity for us to be a lead investor in their portfolio. So we did take a segment of our portfolio and invested with Paradigm. And it's interesting because and we'll be talking about this a little bit at our annual meeting, as Paradigm will be speaking about what they do in more detail. But other foundations are kind of following our lead to make sure that, again, we're consistent with what we say we are doing on our day-to-day and our grant making with how we're managing our money. So that's a very interesting side note. I'll kind of leave that there. But, one of the other things I wanted to make sure I touched on before in our limited time here was, the transparency and accountability, because, people have to trust the community foundation to do what's right and what's best with their money. And we take that very seriously. The way it works mechanically is that, we have all of our fund holders, they can actually log on and they can get their statements each month, and they can kind of log in the balance. They can call us and ask us about questions. We go through a very comprehensive audit process. We actually just had our audit committee meeting today. And our audit report, as you can imagine, is pretty lengthy because we have significant investments that are reviewed. And that is, once the audit is approved, we put our 990 out, which is our basically our informational tax return. Even though we're nonprofits, we don't pay taxes, but we fill out an informational return, and we put that on our websites. But we welcome anyone who is considering investing with the Community Foundation or just donating to the Community Foundation to really, if they have any concerns, to reach out and to contact us, whether it be me or a member of our investment committee. But we really want to make sure that people have confidence in the way that we invest our money, because it's important to us, not just the end result of how much the account goes up or down. So I'm going to pause there because I don't want to steal all the thunder here. We have with us a guest, and I will admit I've known Aaliyah for a whole 2 weeks so far.
Week and a half.
Yeah. So Aaliyah is an intern with us, and she's coming through the Leadership Lorain County program, and I want to give her a chance to kind of talk about her first impressions and what she's doing with us this summer, because it's really exciting.
Yeah, but Jim, I think that information is so important. For context, I'm born and raised in Lorain County, Lorain High School graduate class of 2016, the best class, of course. But I think growing in Lorain and being in this environment, moving away for college and coming back, one thing I noticed, one thing that was always told to me was that Lorain County is not a place for business. Lorain County is a place that, their glory days are behind them. And I think it's been so refreshing to see organizations like the Community Foundation of Lorain County and all of your partners who are putting in the work and the effort to bring revitalization and to bring just economic development to the county. So when it came to an internship, I seen my options and I was like, okay, I see the Community Foundation everywhere, but what do they do and who are they doing it with? So this was a real great opportunity for me to dive into the backbones of my community and working with nonprofits. I'm a volunteer for Main Street Lorain, and I also do some work with the newspaper. So it's important for me to kind of know, all right, who are the players here that's helping to create an environment that I'm proud to live in?
So what most are you looking forward to the rest of your time this summer with us?
Soaking it in like a sponge. Well, I think, our internship is for college students. So I'm graduating from Kent State later this year with my degree in communication. So I think it's invaluable for me, and our team is so open to our conversations that we had yesterday and with everyone on the staff, to just learn as much as I can about things that I probably would not have access to if I would have done more of a traditional marketing internship. So I guess I just want to learn everything about everything.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to all that you're going to help us with this summer, including Connect for Cause. And I know we're going to take a quick break here soon because we want to make sure we have enough time to talk about it. But I guess, Aaliyah, I just want to say we're happy to have you as an intern and looking forward to some great things this summer.
Thank you.
What is your healing power? Helping veterans with PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, depression, anxiety, or loneliness? Is your healing power a simple, heartfelt letter or being a volunteer? At healvets.org, you can find out more about the healing power of pen pals, volunteers, and therapy kits. Help Heal Veterans has been helping veterans heal. What is your healing power? Find out at healvets.org, sponsored by Help Heal Veterans.
I just had another dizzy spell and almost fell. I'm scared they will get worse and never go away.
You're not alone. 69 million people suffer from dizziness and vertigo.
I wonder if there's help.
There is. The Vestibular Disorders Association has a helpline at 800-837-8428 or visit liferebalanced.org.
Can you repeat that?
800-837-8428 or liferebalanced.org.
Sponsored by the Vestibular Disorders Association.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly.
Get on board. Get on board. Now, we tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly.
Get on board. Get on board.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Now, we tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I've got my friends Britt and Laura back with us, and we wanted to kind of finish today's segment by talking about Connect to a Cause. Britt, do you want to kind of lead off a little bit? Or Laura?
Yeah, sure. So if you have not heard of Connect to a Cause, it is our 12-hour crowdfunding day that is in September every year for the last 3 years. And we're so excited to have it again this year, September 21st from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. What's crowdfunding? Most people have no idea what I say when I say crowdfunding, but I had to say crowdfunding because that's essentially what it is. It's when you put something out there and you're just asking people to participate in it. Help us fund this. And so over the last 3 years, we've had over 90 organizations raise $750,000. With our help of our business champions, organizations, people from all over, not just Lorain County. I think we had some people from California donate, Minnesota, all these different things. And so think about it as a day where we just get to celebrate all the amazing work that's going on in Lorain County. So this year, we have over 90 organizations participating, and we're super excited for it.
We are, yeah. It's a lot of fun. And I think I mentioned earlier on in the podcast that I started with Community Foundation in September of 2020. And that was 2 weeks before our first Connect to a Cause that we were doing in honor of our 40th anniversary at the time. And I'll kind of date myself a little bit in saying that it kind of felt like what I remember watching of the Jerry Lewis MDA telethons. There was just kind of all this activity and entertainment, and while we didn't have dancers and we didn't have singers, there was just a hustle and a bustle throughout that 12 hours that was unlike anything I've ever experienced. And while I still think about that telethon and Jerry Lewis and all of that, I think what a lot of people resonate with more is, you have the national level of Giving Tuesday, and this is kind of like Lorain County Giving Tuesday on a Thursday. But it still is. It's that hustle and bustle of activity. And it's, a lot of the donations come in online. A lot of the donations are mailed in advance by certain donors. We have all these organizations that are using this money not just for their current needs, but also as a way to build the endowments they have at the Community Foundation. And a lot of the organizations have really appreciated that allocation of a certain percentage towards the endowment but for Connect to a Cause, they wouldn't have the time, effort, or energy to add funds to their endowment. Often these organizations are small. They have limited staff capacity. They're always running after what they need to do for their big fundraising events that they do themselves. And, fundraising for their endowments often becomes kind of the forgotten cousin of their fundraising sphere. So they love the idea that they have this opportunity to really help use their endowments to shore up their longevity, to shore up their financial security. A number of organizations, through the pandemic really relied heavily on some of that money they had available to spend in their endowments as they were coming out of, 2020 and into 21 and 22. So it's been a great opportunity for folks for these organizations not just to raise funds, but also for donors to get a sense of new organizations that they haven't heard of before. As Britt mentioned, we have over 90 participating this year, and more often than not, we've seen donors drop off their forms to us and say, hey, I got this form from this organization, but then I also saw this organization and this organization, and I wanted to give them money too. And there's folks that have said, I didn't even know that this organization existed doing this work, and how cool is that? So it's a great opportunity for donors to be able to touch base with who are some of the organizations doing work in Lorain County, how can we support those, and how can we be better engaged. A number of the school districts are participating this year. So if you're a parent of a school district, it's a great opportunity to support your school districts. Aside from the endowment component, Britt briefly mentioned our business champions. And we could not do half of the success that we do without the support of our business champions. The funding from our business champions, this year right now we've got about 20 business champions lined up. Some of the larger ones that are participating currently are Ross Construction, Bogner Funeral Services, Clearstead Financial. We have a number of other organizations that are participating as well. We have PNC Bank. We're still working on some of those champions coming in, but they help to create a bonus pool for the nonprofits. And historically, what's happened is through that funding from our business champions, most of the nonprofits, all the nonprofits that participate in Connect to a Cause get a little added bump. And through the last 3 years, that bump has been anywhere from 14 to 17% added to what they fundraise through the course of that day. We've also been able to include special prizes that get awarded to the organizations. So they might get an extra $500 here, $1,000 there, depending on, what criteria they meet with our business champion support. But it's been a great avenue to really be able to supercharge the day and really to have organizations go to their donors and say, say, hey, if you give on this day, there's this much added value that's coming from that for that donor participation. So mark your calendars for September 21st, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We will be all over social media, and we'll have 90 other organizations with us, just blasting the daylights out of everything about Connect to a Cause, and really just having a great time through that day, connecting people who care with causes that matter all over Lorain County.
And I do want to give a couple shout outs. So Connect to a Cause was a part of our strategic plan, our last round of strategic plan. And Randy Wagner, our development committee chair, really stewarded this idea that he's seen other places, and he really wanted to bring it to Lorain County. So thank you, Randy. And then I also want to give a shout out to Jim, our CFO, but then also Allison Hawkinson, our finance manager, because people don't see all the things that go on behind the scenes. And Teresa, our IT person, Rachel, Angie, really our whole team. It's a day where all of us are working all day. But it doesn't even feel like work. Our organizations ask us for a lot of things, and one of the things that they've asked us for a really long time is how can we help them with fundraising? Connect to a Cause is the answer. So not only are you raising funds for a project, for staff, for things you need right now, you're putting some of that away for later. And more organizations than not are actually putting it all away for later, because during the pandemic, they realized how important having an endowment fund was. And for some of them, it kept the lights on. And so we hear stories all the time about how grateful organizations are, organizations who have started funds so that they can participate and connect to a cause. And we haven't hit $1 million that we've raised just yet, but with your help, we can finally hit that mark. And we all are really excited and really just all in. It's an all-in day in our office, and we want it to be an all-in day in our community. I see people with Connect to a Cause t-shirts on. I'm like, you don't even know me, but I made that. And I'm really excited that you have it. We're a Community Foundation ball cap. And if you guys reach out to me, I can't promise I'm going to give it to everyone, but I might have a stash of those things in my office. So give me a call, shoot me an email. The first few people that do, I'll make sure you get something. Big John, I'll bring you a hat. But it's just one of those days that all of us get to focus on the good. Yeah. How many days do we have where we all get to just focus on the happy and all the good things that are going on? And they can give us the statistics about how many people, the increase in the need for food or emergency assistance, and we can go through all that. But for Connect to a Cause Day, we're just supporting our nonprofits. And it's a day that anyone who participates in, they're going to feel good. And I'm really excited. You guys heard from Aaliyah. This is something that's always evolving. We think we know what Connect to a Cause is going to be today, but I'll tell you right now, up until that moment, we're taking feedback, we're adding things. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be a fun day. Jim, how is it in the office?
Well, it is a little crazy, but I think, I'll give your group a shout out. The one collective thing that happens on that day is, all of these 90 organizations benefit from the momentum of being together. If any one of these groups tried to do their own campaign, and I've seen it, I know a couple of the organizations on their own, they've got to do all the marketing, they've got to try and get the word out, contact their donors. There's just this natural momentum that happens when we have so many groups coming together. And, Britt does a lot of coaching with the nonprofits and how to get the word out. And then, we get the support of local media and donors just flock to it. So, the day's a little crazy for us because every one of those transactions has to be posted in our system, but we're always coming back reporting good news. Like, hey, we hit this much, we hit a new goal, and, this is a winner of this particular contest, which might get an additional bonus. So, it's a fun day. I'm looking forward to it. It's the quickest day of the year, even though it's the longest day of the year for our foundation.
Yeah, they have the adage about how a rising tide lifts all boats, and I think there's no better example of that adage than Connect to a Cause Day. I mean, everybody banding together and everybody, focusing on how best, we can help these 90 plus nonprofits achieve some of their goals that they have for their own fundraising, while also helping to guarantee some of their longevity for their future is a great way to spend the day.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I know we're getting ready to come to a close. We hit our mark, and I think we did pretty good for our first podcast. And so we have a few more coming this year. We love working with the team here at WOBL, WDLW. If you don't know where they are, they're in Oberlin, but they're broadcasting everywhere, and we're just so thankful for the opportunity to even be able to do this. We're evolving with the time, so now we have podcasts that we're going to share. So if you want to learn more about the Community Foundation of Lorain County, please visit our website. It's super easy. You've heard us say it 1,000 times. It's peoplewhocare.org. Visit, see the amazing photos, follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I mean, we're kind of everywhere. And if you know where our office is, we're on Levitt Road. Is that 113? Is it 50?
South of 113.
7? Am I right? 58. See, I was close. I was almost there. Stop by our office. Most people don't know what our office looks like, but we're always there with a smile and a conversation. And I think that's one of my favorite things. When people just randomly walk in and you're like, oh my gosh, you were my teacher from X, and now you're donating. Thank you. So please, thanks to Jim, thanks to Laura, thanks to Aaliyah. Laura will be hosting next time, talking about grants and scholarships with Angie and Jamie. But as always, we are your Community Foundation of Lorain County. Our whole mission is to connect people who care like you with causes that matter in our community, and we will see you next time.
The proceeding was a paid informational program. The views and opinions expressed were not necessarily those of the staff, management, or advertisers of WOBL Radio.
Home of the